We're the morning after. I'm Big J.
And I'm Nick, and thanks for listening to The X. You are the ones that rock.
When gets rough and you're gonna hang tough to make it. History repeats itself. Try and you'll succeed. Never doubt that you're the one, and you can have your dreams. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep it down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep it down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep it down.
What up, players? It's the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome to Tuesday. Tuesday, the 24th day of September, 2024. Hey, my name's Nick. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you Radio's Big J.
Hello.
Hey, Big J.
Hey,
How
Nick.
are you today?
Good, man.
Yeah? Everything's good?
Yeah, I forgot my glasses at home, but
How does that happen?
I didn't forget them. I mean, I forgot them in a part of the house that was inaccessible to me in the morning without waking up the whole house.
What room could that possibly be?
My studio.
Oh, okay. And because sometimes opening up a door close to where the dogs sleep, it would drive everybody crazy? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, mistakes were made,
So I'm
Big
blind.
J.
I cannot see. How did I get here? My vision isn't that bad.
So if you see a guy in a motorcycle swerving all over the road today, it's because Big J forgot his glasses at home.
No.
Just so you know. But will you be able to sally forth? What does that affect? You won't be able to read very well?
I can read fine.
You won't be able to see very well.
No, I can see the top line there. So I can read that.
Read it for me.
Friday, September 27th, 5 to 7 p.m., Sturman's Wine and Cigars, 4204 West Chinden, Garden City, Aftershock giveaway, remote. Adam in the morning after.
None of those words are right. I don't even know where you... I'm kidding. Nailed it. He nailed it. So he's good. He has passed the vision test. We can continue with
the patented morning after vision test.
Good news. What do you wear glasses for then?
I don't know. The doctor says it's for a little further out.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that you haven't subscribed to the conspiracy theory that maybe it is the glasses that are in fact making your eyes worse.
It is not. It is not.
Just making sure. Welcome to Tuesday. Today on the show, Big J needs some assistance. Not only finding his glasses, but also picking out a movie tonight. He wants to watch something, but he doesn't want to actually make the decision himself, which is why we have created Streaming Dumbass. It is an opportunity for you to select a movie for Big J to watch and then review for you in a 24-hour period. We'll need your assistance there. We will let you know what the Aftershock Power Hours are for your Tuesday coming up at 7:45 or so this morning. You'll get a full update as to when you should tune in specifically in order to qualify for our big Aftershock giveaway, which is happening Friday at Sturman's Wine and Cigars. Maybe you heard Big J mention it during the vision test. And, of course, we also have another keyword coming your way for textual healing. That's a little bit after 9 o'clock. So you'll have an opportunity to actually win $500 just for listening to us and hanging out. So You're going to want to do that after 9. Headlines, we're going to hell, all the usual stuff. So we have ourselves a Tuesday show ahead of us. Thanks for hanging out. We'll start with some music. How about it? Everlast is kicking things off here on the morning after.
Important stuff. On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Big J, don't look.
Oh, no, it's a Gas Buddy?
Yeah, it's
Gas Buddy. Hey, I'm Gas Buddy. What's up, everybody?
Hi, Gas Buddy.
I know. Everybody knows that's me now. As soon as this posts. No, damn
You don't
it.
have any information to share with us, Gas Buddy, the
No.
character? You have printed out your report and handed it to me?
Yeah!
Wonderful theater of the mind. I love this character, for the record. I think it's great. I do say my only advice would be not telling everybody it's you 2 seconds into the impression. But Gas Buddy is back, yes, and he has let us know that gas prices in Boise have dropped 4 cents. Do you want to say that as Gas Buddy?
No.
Great. They talked to about 216 stations in the area, so the new average price for a gallon of gas is about $3.53 here in the Treasure Valley. That's about 4 cents less than a month ago. 59 cents per gallon lower than a year ago. Diesel also down to $3.55 a gallon. In Boise, the cheapest station, $3.16. Where's that? Point me in that direction,
Yeah.
Gas Buddy. Whereas
Costco?
the most expensive gas was priced at $3.69. There is a difference of 53 cents here in the Treasure Valley, so it definitely does matter where you stop and fill up. Cheapest station here in the state, $3.10. Most expensive in the state, $4.39. Nationally, the average price of a gallon of gas is down to $3.16, which of course is significantly less than here, but that's always the case. We don't have a direct pipeline, therefore we see the things kind of bounce down a little bit slower than the rest of the nation, but I suppose we'll take a dip in gas prices, agree or disagree, Big J.
Yeah, why not?
So, I guess have fun at the pump when you're filling up.
Thanks, gas buddy.
Thanks, gas buddy. Goodbye.
You're welcome.
We'll see you whenever.
Bye-bye.
The Chicago White Sox have a record-tying 120 losses so far, 6 games to go in their season, but one part of the organization has been on a winning streak. That's their social media department. In the past week, they posted various ways of talking about another loss, such as final can be found on the MLB app. Final, the number of runs that we scored was not greater than the number of runs they scored. Or final, the other team scored more runs than us. So they're having fun with losing? I don't know. I suppose that you're making the best out of a bad situation, so a little bit of credit is deserved there. But they are about to go down as the most historically bad baseball team in the modern era of baseball. A record that has been held for almost 60 years, and that's going to be done in a matter of probably tonight.
All records must fall.
Yeah, I suppose. It'll probably not be that long before another team is worse than them, and somehow.
Might be a minute, but...
yeah, maybe. I mean...
I don't know. You kind of get incentivized these days to be really bad.
How's that?
Well, your social media department will rise.
Well, that doesn't mean it is making the fans laugh.
At least in the other sports. I don't know how it works for the draft in Major League Baseball, but, usually get a better spot.
Yeah, but again, Major League Baseball is much different than other sports in the way that it usually takes a longer period of time for your draft picks to make any kind of impact on your team. So you don't drafting like a high school superstar that's coming right out and making the team. But yeah, I mean, don't forget there's also revenue sharing in baseball, which a lot of places don't have, in the way that there's a lot more separation from the haves and have-nots in baseball. And that's by the choice of the owners, by the way. All of these guys are billionaires. They're just choosing that I'd rather take the money from the league and keep that than spend it on salary and make a competitive baseball team. But sometimes it's difficult to, compete if you're like a team that doesn't have the money the Dodgers have and go, what am I supposed to do up against that other than just try? And so,
Lose.
and that's what's happening. So the White Sox are definitely taking their L's, that's for sure. Record will be set at some point this week. Big J, are you familiar with the work of Kyle Chandler?
Kyle Chandler,
You ever
no.
watch Early Edition on CBS back in the day?
No.
You ever watch Friday Night Lights on NBC back in the day?
No, I never did.
What the hell's going on over here? That seems like it's right up your alley. Why not?
I had no interest in it at all.
In a high school football show,
Yeah,
really?
high school football show.
A little bit too soap opera-y for you?
A little too high school-y.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it was in my 30s, I think, when Friday Night Lights came out.
That makes sense. It is a good show. You should watch it. Maybe give it a shot. And the star of those shows, Kyle Chandler, that's who he is. He is in talks for the lead role as Hal Jordan on HBO series Lanterns. That's the one that's focusing on Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart of the Green Lanterns Corps. The casting news follows the fact that Josh Brolin said thanks but no thanks to the role. So we'll see what ends up happening with Kyle Chandler, whether or not everything is finalized going forward. Obviously, these is older versions of the Lantern Corps, and so we will see what direction they're deciding to go. And again, this clearly not attached to James Gunn's Superman movie, in which Nathan Fillion is playing one of the Lanterns, which one would think. And I swore I thought it was Hal Jordan. I could be wrong, but I thought that was the character he was playing. So again, we have ourselves a different verse
Divergence
already than what is going on in the universe that he's creating. Well, I don't know. I mean, it depends on which direction they go.
So just hear it. That's not a universe. I'm sorry. If it all doesn't work together, it's not.
Yeah, you're right.
So.
But, again, he's starting from a situation where there's already a creative and successful financially hit in the Batman and the Joker, and he doesn't want those two entities as part of it. So now he's said that there's going to be these other adventures that aren't related to what he's doing.
What does it matter to me?
Well, which one do you have? You're not, so
I guess it doesn't matter, really, ultimately.
Well, it kind of does. Well, I mean, it matters if you're going to watch it or not. Are you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, Superman?
No,
yeah.
no. I'm talking about the other.
I will not be watching Lanterns.
You don't think so? How come? Just because it's different?
Yeah, I haven't watched Penguin yet, so.
Well, it just started.
I know, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to watch it or not.
Oh, really? How come? You
I don't
really
know.
like the Batman?
I did. It doesn't mean I'm all there. They got to earn me. They got to earn me watching it.
The Batman did not yet?
No.
How come?
Because of this whole universe. It's not a universe.
Okay.
There's no incentive.
Well, there's a universe inside that Batman movie that they want to
Very
explore.
confusing. I got to take notes. If this isn't connected to that.
Yeah, there might be too
I'm
much of that
lost.
going on. Maybe sometimes you got to sit back and just enjoy the ride. But I have been on the record. I know that James Gunn is overseeing all this. I'll give it a shot until he proves me
wrong.
Until he says that I clearly don't know what I'm doing or have any direction or anything. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
He might know what he's doing. The rest of the people there might not. And that might be the problem.
But it's okay to have good things separate from other stuff, I suppose. But it's just difficult to keep track. Like what kind of world are they saving?
Yeah.
Who are they trying to help out?
Especially if you're going to have a Hal Jordan here and a Hal Jordan there, and they're
You're a
different.
Jordan, they're a Jordan.
Everywhere,
Hal
Hal
Jordan. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your first round of important stuff and your first sing-along of the day. We are going to do some streaming dumbass action. That's next on the X Rocks.
New to the old, we're digging deep into the depths of Netflix. It's Streaming Dumbass on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
All right, it is time for Big J to watch a movie tonight, but he doesn't want to pick out the movie he watches. Here we are leaving that up to you, so we need your help selecting a movie for Big J. It's called Streaming Dumbass. Going to give you 3 movies, at least the description of those movies. You have to decide which one of those movies do you want Big J to watch by texting in movie number 1, movie number 2, or movie number 3 to 208-287-1003. The movie that gets the most votes, well, that's the one that Big J will have to watch, and he will review it for you in a 24-hour period. Big J, list off the latest movies you watched so that I don't include them in Streaming Dumbass, please.
0. None.
Not a single one?
No.
Is the last movie you watched Streaming Dumbass
Yeah.
last week? Oh, my God. Is there any reason why?
Yeah, I don't watch movies every day.
Well, not every day, but it's been a full week. Thought maybe you caught 1 or 2,
No.
maybe, in the last calendar week, but nothing, huh? Then
Nope.
we have a clean slate to jump off from. Your motivations are your own. Which movie you want to choose? Do you think the movie sounds fun and awesome and you want Big J to check it out for you? That's cool. Do you think it sounds terrible and you want Big J to watch a bad movie and waste his time and be all grumpy because you think it's funny? That's cool, I guess. Seems cruel to me, but
It is messed up.
your motivations are your own. We just ask that you text in movie number 1, movie number 2, or movie number 3 because the movie that gets the most votes, that's the one Big J will watch. No questions asked. Agree or disagree, Big J?
Agreed.
Here we go. Movie number 1. A man embarks on an emotional journey to find his first love who disappeared decades ago before his time runs out. On this journey, he discovers more than he bargained for. Movie number 2. Dreaming of striking it rich, 2 best friends seize the opportunity to run the local pool's rundown side business. However, things take an unexpected turn when they meet a woman who puts their business and friendship at risk. Movie number 3. A coach has turned a player that used to be an afterthought into one of the best in the world. To jolt him out of a recent losing streak, they decide to take an easy side gig, but tensions soon run high when they find themselves tangled in a situation that makes their careers seem secondary.
Wow.
Any of those sound familiar, Big J?
Any given Sunday.
That's correct. A movie I know you've seen several times has made its way
Willie
to streaming
Beeman.
dumbass. Movie number 1, Memory Lane. Movie number 2, Friendship is Rare, ? Or movie number 3, Sports Stuff. This is the choice that you have to make. Which one of these movies do you want Big J to watch? Text movie number 1, movie number 2, or movie number 3 to 208-287-1003. We will tabulate those votes, release the titles of every single one of the movies, including the one Big J will be forced to watch. That's next on the X Rocks. Be more human than human here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Let's get to the conclusion of Streaming Dumbass. Have the votes been tabulated, Big J?
Yes, they have.
Is there a clear and decisive winner for which movie you need to watch?
No, there is not.
Oh, no!
We get another tie at the top, baby.
Guys, it's my fault. I didn't say we need as many votes as possible to break a tie. I'm so sorry.
I don't think they are communicating with each other.
Son of a gun. So,
happens.
is it up top, the tie up top?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I have to make the choice. Okay.
Yeah.
What
Sucker.
movie got the least amount of votes?
Movie number 2.
Movie number 2, which is the movie I would have selected.
Oh, man.
If it was the tie, because I think it has a chance to be the most fun of the bunch. It is a movie called Snack Shack. It stars Connor Sherry, Micah Dula. It is the comedy of the bunch, and it is available on Amazon about a couple of best friends that take over the snack shack at the local pool, and then there's a lifeguard there that may have questioned, they both have a crush on and could ruin
Oh.
the friendship. Seemed
Sounds
like it was
fun.
a fun movie. but alas, you will not be watching it. So I have to decide between
1 and 3, baby.
movie number 1 and movie number 3.
What are they?
All right. So I have made my decision. You will not be watching movie number 1. Movie number 1 is the straight-up drama of the bunch. It is called Touch. It stars an actress named Koki and Eagle Olafsson. It is available on Peacock if you'd like to check that out. It is it felt Notebook-esque to me, which made me think that you might actually enjoy it. But I'm going with the one that actually probably has the more mainstream appeal, the movie you've maybe heard of, the movie that got a theatrical release out of the bunch. You will be watching Challengers, Big J. It is the movie starring Zendaya and Mike Faist that got released in theaters. #1 movie for a couple of weeks. It's about Zendaya is a tennis coach, and she is the coach of her boyfriend/husband. I don't know what relationship he is to her.
Find out, I guess.
Yep, and then there is a torrid love affair, weird stuff that happens when he goes in this tournament in another country. So yes, you do love hot things, and that is why you'll be watching Challengers starring Zendaya and Mike Faist. If you haven't seen the theaters, you want to check it out, that is available on Amazon, which is where you will find it, Big J. And then I need you to report back here right around this time tomorrow about how you felt about Challengers. You may be... This movie is not made for you. You may be out of the age range for this movie, and whether
is
or
it
not...
for 80-year-olds?
No. I think it's for people a little bit younger than you, my friend. But we will see what you think about it. Did you ever see Saltburn?
No, I did not see it.
Okay. I was wondering it because this gives off some of those vibes to me, and I wonder how it is. I have not seen this movie myself, so I will rely on you, Big J, and your review as to whether or not you think it would be worth it. But do me a favor, in your own time, watch the trailer for Touch and see if it's even something you would remotely be interested in. I don't know, and I don't think so. So I went with the movie you're more likely to enjoy. That's me trying to do you a favor. Although, again, I would have picked number 2 had it been up for the tie, so you can eventually blame the listeners. How about that?
I always do.
Yep, that's for sure. If not them, it's me. No doubt about it. But if you want to play the home game, Challengers is the movie. It is available on Amazon Prime. Big J will let you know what he thinks about it around this time tomorrow. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Important stuff is next on the X Rocks.
Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Big J, you've been working in the corporate world for a long time.
Yeah.
You ever had to go to HR for a situation?
No. No, I haven't.
You had to think about it, though.
Well, because I got wrote up for something, but I didn't. It wasn't. We didn't really have an HR person at the time. Like, it wasn't an HR thing. It was just the boss being like, "Hey, somebody else screwed up. You kind of got to take the hit on this because you voiced it, etc." It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think
it was
that
the
was
one time I've been written up.
I don't think that was an HR situation, though.
That's why I paused. I was
Understood.
I was trying to figure out if that was.
But if you find yourself going to HR or headed to HR, there's a lot of reasons why. And they talked to a bunch of human resources professionals around the country and found the main reasons why people head to HR. Number 1, poor communication. Number 2, some sort of rule violation. Number 3, toxic negativity. The top issues that HR people have to deal with on a regular basis. 37% of HR professionals have dealt with gossip issues in the workplace. That appears to be the biggest complaint. Somebody's talking about me behind my back, or it's creating a toxic workplace, or whatever the case may be. You ever run into like gossip? I've worked places that have been like middle schools, and there's been some of that here, but I felt like it's been a little bit more above board than most places. But there's always issues behind the scenes.
I think near the end of one of our darkest times here, there was some gossip flowing around, and that was bad because we couldn't trust going to HR.
That is correct.
So, like,
I think there's
that was a weird time.
There's several points in our time here that this has been a toxic workplace, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, and it's certainly more times than others, but and there was a situation where Big J's being very specific, where there was somebody that was our superior that was just incompetent in every way possible, and had cut off. It was like out of a soap opera. I'm not even kidding. had cut off our ability to go above that person's head. And so, like, we were like, what the hell do we do? And how do we combat these things that are clearly false when we're not allowed to talk to anybody outside of the circle that this person has created? And it's really, really hard to do what we do. But Big J, who got the last laugh there?
We did, but that's because that person was a moron. How they got into that position, I have no idea.
That is still, there are lots of questionable decisions made around that time. But nonetheless, you know,
survivors.
What do you think the biggest complaint would be to somebody headed to HR, by the way?
Harassment.
No, surprisingly not. That's not number one. Number one are employees feeling underpaid and underappreciated at their jobs, where they feel like they don't get enough credit and their salary does not reflect the work that they do. But of course, they've had to handle a bunch of unusual situations as well, like people upset at other people for bringing pets into the workplace, somebody convinced that their workplace is haunted, and requests for exorcisms. All this kind of stuff is part of making your HR role incredibly challenging. And to those of you that do it on a regular basis, well done. Congratulations. Thanks for all you do.
Stories like that almost make you want to listen to an HR podcast.
Yeah. I wonder, I'm sure there's some sort of not like cone of silence, but I'm sure there's it's like a lawyer-client privilege kind of a thing going on with HR where they're not allowed to spread a bunch of details.
So we have HR in our family. Like one particular person has a master's degree in human resources. So, and both her and her husband both work in the HR in different companies. And so whenever we need HR advice, we always ask them because they're going to know on the good side and the bad side.
Yeah. Is that a good touch or a bad touch? Lots of conversations about that.
Yeah. Mostly bad touches.
But now you know. Yeah. At least now you know. And that's good information to have.
When you put your hand on my shoulder sometimes and it's out of place. It's like, why, this is weird.
Yes. Yes, it's one of those deals where if you can sit down and have a conversation with somebody that works in HR, you're going to have a fantastic and fun conversation. But also one of those jobs where it's like, man, am I glad I don't have to deal with that kind of stuff that you guys have to deal with on a regular basis.
It sucks to be the HR person.
Sure.
Because whenever our HR person comes to town, I'm scared.
Yes, they bring with them a veil of fear, and it's usually like, okay, it's a harbinger of death that has come.
Yeah, but she's usually the Grim Reaper.
But the last couple of trips have been uneventful, which is good.
She brought Chinese food the other day. I was like, whoa.
See? It's like a peace offering to you to make you help. And so did you look her in the eyes and make sure you're like, are you okay? Is it all right?
Somebody who walked by my desk said, "Hey, Big J," and I'm like, "Hi." Like I was busy, wasn't paying attention to who it was, and I was like, "Oh no!" I just kind of like subside, said hi. I'm like, "Oh, I better make up for that."
Nope, she was coming to see me in my office and then taking me back to her office. It was it was fine. It was fine. Hey, it's been a record-setting year for Caitlin Clark, both on and off the basketball court, setting records for rookie assists and three-pointers, among others. She also set a record. Her rookie card sold at auction for $84,000. Now, that's a record for women's basketball. Quite an honor. It's also a bit of a bummer because that card actually sold for more than the amount of money Caitlin Clark made this year for her contract with the Indiana Fever. So it does kind of suck that that's the case.
Where are they at in their series? Do you know?
I think the playoffs just started.
Because she got an injury. She got poked in the eye.
Yeah, it happens, man. Basketball is a contact sport. You got to be careful. But hopefully she does. I mean, listen, the fact that the Fever are even in the playoffs is a miracle and a credit to her.
I think that, and she didn't win the WNBA MVP.
No, but she shouldn't have. I mean, the woman that has won 3 years in a row. Her numbers are bonkers. Yeah. But Caitlin Clark did win unanimously Rookie of the Year, which there's some weird debate about for a while. But
Angel Reese.
Sure, but if you look at the numbers, it's like not even close.
But I think taking the team that hasn't been successful for many years and then first appearance in the playoffs and with her on the team is no coincidence.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. She has carried that team on her back all the way to the playoffs. No matter if they get bounced out in the first round, this is a team that won like 6 games last year. So It's impressive. Turns out Freddie Prinze Jr. does know what somebody did last summer. He is headed to the sequel. He will reprise his role as Ray Bronson from the original 1997 movie and 1998 follow-up. Jennifer Love Hewitt also in negotiations to return as her character, Julie James. The new film will be directed by Jennifer Robinson, will be released in theaters in July of next year. The plot details for this continuation project still unknown, But we already know that it's got most of its cast filled for like the new people. But the franchise, of course, is based on a novel about 4 friends being stalked by a killer after a tragic accident. And then they made the sequel to it. How this story continues, I do not know. But especially with bringing back the old characters. But maybe it's just a situation where like an accident happens again and somebody's going through this.
Or they can turn the whole original story on its head and completely, reimagine it.
Like
too.
Scream, where Freddie Prinze Jr. ends up being the killer?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I mean, it seems pretty cool. This is one of those movies I'm like, I feel like Mason would really like it. I mean, I like the first I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I still Know What You Did Last Summer. It was pretty bad, though.
Yeah. The first one, it's got some elements that Scream had in it a little bit. And so I think that's why she would like it. So I wonder, I wish they wouldn't release it in the summer. I wish this was more of a fall release because it's,
Well, Big J, the movie's not called I Know What You Did Last Fall.
True. Good point.
Morning After with Nick.
I Know What You Did Last Halloween.
And Big J. There's your important stuff. We're going to go to hell. It's next on the X Rocks.
Bringing to light stories that are incredibly f***ed up. Oh man, we're going to hell.
Let's not kid ourselves. I'm going to hell and you know it.
The Morning After with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
To Thailand we go for today's We're Going to Hell story.
Yeah.
Big J, when you're in Thailand, of course, one of the things you want to do is check out some of the sites, maybe see some really kind of like special niche kind of dining in like a Thai kind of cuisine and finding nice and cool places that you also may be able to see that you won't be able to see anywhere else.
Cobra Venom Sack.
Okay.
It's very like one of those delicate dishes. Like a delicate, not delicate, but one of the very sought after things. It's like a crazy thing that people...
Were you thinking delicacy?
Yeah, delicacy. Thanks. Delicatessen. I was like, that's a Reuben, not a...
Yeah. Oh, you were close, buddy. I mean, you had most of those words.
Uh-huh.
But also, maybe one of the things that you want to do when you go to Thailand is get penis enlargement surgery. So it's easier to find there in Thailand than it is most other places. Here's the problem. I mean, when you go to another country for these things, stuff can go sideways sometimes. And thus we have the story of Kittikorn Songrasi. Now, he's a 36-year-old man from central Thailand that recently was arrested because for the last 20 years, he's been performing penis enlargement surgery. Now, that math should not add up in your head, Big J, because he's 36 years old. So 20 years old, how old do you think he was?
16?
Yeah. So he's been doing penis enlargement surgery since he was 16 years
A lot
old.
of experience.
The problem is he never graduated high school, never went to medical school, never went to any kind of school that would allow him to do this. He was just performing these surgeries out of his, at the time, parents' townhouse that then became his townhouse. And so he was putting together what he was calling penis enlargement surgeries. But really, Big J, it was just him essentially slicing, hacking up, and then stitching back together people's junk.
Yeah.
And saying eventually you'll see some sort of improvement. Of course, those never happen. And after 20 some odd years of complaints, they finally tracked him down. And they found him. He says he taught himself how to do this surgery when he was 14, and he's been doing it ever since.
What?
Unfortunately, there have been a bunch of disgruntled patients who suffered serious infections and problems after the actual surgery, and it took him this long to track him down.
Again, who's going to some teenager's condo to let him mess around with your junk?
I don't have an answer to that question, but apparently it's been several people. I mean, he charges a pretty penny for these, of course. But then, again, red flag number one needs to be you're having a surgical procedure in somebody's house. That's not normal.
Yeah.
It never will be. I don't care what, any kind of medical procedure, like you're going someplace that also serves as where that person sleeps, you should walk out the door and find someplace else.
Yeah, it shouldn't feel like a drug deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Back when you had to go over to somebody's house for something?
Yeah, it's a different
Pineapple
thing.
Express style?
Right. I mean, you should also be weary of medical professionals that say they can deliver to you as well. That should be red flag number two. Anything that makes it feel like it's a drug deal, probably something isn't above board. But for the last 20 years, he's been charging about 20,000 baht, which is about $600 per procedure, which is big money over in Thailand. And he had himself several patients. And believe it or not, some of them either probably out of sheer embarrassment just didn't report the complaints.
I would say, that would be the majority.
But those that did, and there were several, had any kind of problems ranging from not healing correctly to it doing the opposite of what they went in for to straight up serious medical infections that needed to be treated at an actual hospital to fix. So he's been doing this for a while. He's been on the run, so you shouldn't call him a Doogie Howser because he's been doing it wrong all these years. It's not like he's like some sort of genius. He's just been doing it wrong and taking people's money and carving up their private parts and then moving from townhouse to townhouse to set up a new plate.
Yeah, he's a junk hustler.
Yeah.
He's been hustling junk since he was 16.
And it doesn't always work out the way you want it to work out. So a reminder, do your due diligence. If you are convinced that this is the way you want to go, make sure you're doing it with somebody that actually appears above board. And don't fly to some weird foreign country just because, it's only $600 to do this. You get what you pay for probably in those situations, I would say.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So be careful. Who knows if any of that stuff is clean that he was using or if he actually properly sterilized the equipment. There's lots of questions that come up that you're not going to have answers for. But now...
Questions that you should ask.
Hey,
None of these people did.
You watch those? Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your We're Going to Hell story. It is the X Rocks.
Sir, please fasten your belt.
Oh.
Your other belt.
It's time. Here's today's Aftershock Power Hours. Qualify for a trip to the Aftershock Festival, only from 100.3 VX Rocks.
Coming up on Friday, we're going to be out at Sturman's Wine and Cigars in Garden City, giving away a trip for two to Aftershock. We got your hotel covered, we got your airfare covered, we got your entire weekend passes covered for one of the biggest rock festivals in the country, certainly the biggest one on the western part of the country, and we want to send you there, but you got to get qualified if you want to win this prize, which is why we recommend you listen for Aftershock Power Hours. We're going to highlight some artists that are playing the festival in those hours. If you can call in when you need to and tell us the correct actual number of artists that are playing Aftershock, and you're right, boom, you're qualified. You're officially joining us on Friday at Sturman's Wine and Cigars. So you need to know when those hours are. Enter Big J into the conversation.
Yeah, that's me.
And when are those Aftershock Power Hours today, sir?
Today, 9 a.m., 11 a.m., and 4 p.m.
All right. So you have 3 opportunities to get yourself qualified and be a part of the official giveaway party on Friday. You're going to want to pay extra close attention in those hours so we can get you qualified. What are they again, Big J?
9 a.m., 11 a.m., and 4 p.m.
You're going to listen for your cue to call. Make sure you're paying attention to those artists. We give you a little piece of production before the song so that you know this is an Aftershock artist. You kind of keep track of those, and you should be able to figure out and tally it up and call us with the correct number so that you can get yourself in for this Aftershock giveaway that we're going to be doing on Friday. We're very excited for it. Just because we believe in the power of threes, Big J, what are those hours again?
9, 11, and 4.
All right. 3 opportunities to get qualified. Pay extra close attention. We'll see if we can't get you in there Friday at Sturman's Wine and Cigars. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Important stuff on the way. So is Pop Culture Smackdown. It's X Rocks.
Spanning the globe in search of news. Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
I think we're going to be showing our age here a little bit, Big J, because these toys were very popular in the 90s. I never had one myself because I think I was just too old, but that doesn't mean that you didn't fiddle around with them. Tamagotchis, you familiar with the concept?
Oh, yeah. No, that was past my time. The Tamagotchi.
Yes,
Too
so
old, yeah.
You didn't mess around with them very much.
No.
Me either. That whole virtual pet thing that was a huge craze
Yeah.
in the 90s, it just... I was at that age where I was just a little bit too old for me to be into it, but I certainly did understand the allure and probably would have been something I would have been into if I was 7 or 8 around that time. It just was, I was a little bit too old for that to be a thing, but it didn't make them any less popular. They were really, really big in the 90s, and for some reason, something is happening. I'm sure it's nostalgia. Everything is old is new again. They're making a huge comeback in this particular year. In fact, the demand is so high that the company that makes them essentially had to open up their own brick and mortar store in the UK this year. They're specifically huge right now over in Europe, and it's starting to make its way back here to the United States. Now, if you're not familiar with what they are, it's a handheld toy, usually kind of small in stature. You could fit in your pocket, much smaller than your phone, but it lets you care for your virtual pet But newer versions have upgrades, the ability to connect to Wi-Fi, which wasn't a thing in the 90s. You can download new items. It's also can be kind of played like a Pokemon Go game, where if you go to a certain location, you end up picking additional products for your Tamagotchi. Of course, some older players are playing because of the nostalgia factor. That's also getting the younger kids back into it and giving them little virtual pets, little pixels that they can take care of time and time again. So they're coming back, Big J. These Digimons, these Tamagotchis, these little virtual pets are becoming popular once again. Do you think you can get into the craze now?
No.
Huh?
No.
All right.
No, thank you.
Can't say I didn't try. What, so you got real pets to take care of now?
Yeah. And kids. And I would say that I never would have been good at that, and probably never would have gotten into that.
Now,
Tamagotchi
I
life.
don't think that's true, because I mean, I know for a fact you play games that you have to check in on the daily, and if it was something that you enjoyed and you wanted to do, you'd have no problem checking out of your virtual pet a couple times a day.
Yeah, I think being the virtual pet part, it's not like, I need to get like a certain level in Madden 25.
True, but also, like, you could kill this virtual pet. If you had to have some sort of sense of responsibility, you wouldn't want this thing to die on your watch, right?
Yeah, no, as young Big J would have probably not cared too much. So
Well, that makes me sad for young Big J.
I know, and I'm trying to make up for it now
Well, Big J,
by rescuing all of them.
interesting situations happened yesterday in the world of college football once again. Now, I'm going to try to explain this the best that I can, but it's going to get a little convoluted, so forgive me.
Thank God you're here to do it.
You understand that the Boise State Broncos are leaving for the Mountain West Conference. They're leaving the Mountain West Conference for Pac-12 here in a couple of seasons. Well, Pac-12 has been positioning and moving around because they need to find at least 2 more schools to join the conference so that they can remain a conference. And everybody else in the Mountain West told them thanks, but no thanks. So they took the thick schools, and they're keeping the way they are. Well, yesterday something happened that Utah State decided they're also going to leave the Mountain West and join the Pac-12. So now they are. And that was interesting because, well, they said they weren't, and now they're going to do it.
Oh, what happened?
Well, I'm sure money was involved.
Hey, want a little bit of this?
And it puts everything in an interesting situation. First of all, I mean, Utah State is it makes sense for the Pac-12. They're a very good basketball school. They've gone to the tournament, I don't know, something like 25 times or something like that. So it makes sense they would want them in the fold, and that's a good thing.
They've been good on the football side, inconsistent. Like a regular college program.
Ups and downs, really dramatically so. Yes, they're kind of in one of their downswings right now, but at least they have other sports to fall back on, so you can understand why the Pac-12 wanted them. So this puts the Pac-12 at 7 schools, right? They need 1 school to continue being a conference. What this now also does is puts the Mountain West at only 7 schools, which means they are at risk of no longer being a conference whatsoever in college football moving forward. And then UNLV yesterday said, well, we had signed a letter that said we're staying with the Mountain West Conference, but that was under the impression that all the other schools are staying as well. Now that Utah State is going, we're now re-engaging talks with the Pac-12 to jump ship as well. And so now, all of a sudden, the Mountain West may not exist in 2 years, which is crazy to think about when it comes down to this particular stuff.
Yeah, well, I thought the Pac-12 didn't want UNLV. I saw that UNLV, like Las Vegas, was putting their foot down too and be like, listen, if the Pac-12 doesn't allow UNLV in, they're going to not let them participate in any of their locations for the Pac-12 in Las Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Weird. Well, I hadn't heard any of that stuff, so that's news to me. All I had known was Las Vegas, UNLV had said, we're sticking in the Mountain West. We're staying with these 8 schools. We don't want any interest. But now they're talking to them again. So now UNLV could jump ship. If they do, that means the Pac-12 is secure as a conference moving forward. All these changes can actually be kind of solidified. And the Pac-12 can continue to grow if they want to, but they don't have to worry about not existing anymore, which is what they were worried about literally 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Now, the Mountain West is in danger of completely falling off the map, and what schools remain would then be independent schools, a la, the Pac-12 or like Notre Dame, UMass, those kind of schools, and go see what happens.
Drag Idaho into get them back into the regular, not the FCS, but the...
Yeah, I don't think the Mountain West wants to disappear. The other question becomes now they're an also-ran conference. You know what I mean? There is no national eyeballs on them any longer. Nobody's going to be tuning in for the Air Force Idaho games, I guess, unless you've gone to those schools. They stop being in the conversation because all the good teams are now gone, or the teams that even possibilities of being good are gone.
Yeah.
So now it becomes
Sorry,
an
Mountain
issue.
West.
Yeah, it is interesting to see these things kind of come together. We'll see where these conferences go and grow from here and see what they do, because now it's a whole spider web again.
Yeah, as a Bronco fan, I'm just relieved we don't suck.
But it is also nice. Again, you want the conference to be competitive. And, I would wish they would stretch outside of the Mountain West in the Pac-12 and try to see what they can do. But if they want to grow this conference further, because I think really all you're going to be doing is essentially filling in blank space there. And I'm not sure that ups the ante for the conference at all. Nobody, knows how this is all going to turn out, but we should see how it happens. I'd like to see a couple other big dogs kind of join the fight, but we'll see if anybody's actually looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, who do you want? Who do you want?
I'd like to, again, it's an abomination. I'm not too much of a purist when it comes to conferences. I don't mind that
It's
USC
too late for that now anyways.
and UCLA have moved into the Big 12. I understand the attraction there and why that's a thing. But the Cal and and Stanford in the ACC is like
weird.
It's just, I feel bad for those schools. Cal having to go and play like a crazy amount of miles to play these schools every week. They're traveling to like Pittsburgh, and it's like none of that makes any kind of sense to me. I think there needs to be some sort of regionalization. For some reason, the flight to Wisconsin and Minnesota for Oregon and USC seems a little bit less drastic to me than Cal playing Pitt every other week. That's crazy for both teams involved. So we'll see how it all goes coming forward, but there's definitely some changes coming in college football. They're not done, not by a long shot. It is the 30th anniversary of Friends, Big J, and so they're going to put together a game show because of it. It is called Fast Friends. It will premiere on Max. It was all filmed at the Friends Experience in New York. It's a competition that will test fans on their knowledge with trivia, puzzles, and challenges inspired by the iconic sitcom settings like Central Perk and Monica's Apartment, of course. And then the winner will be named the Ultimate Friends Fans, and they'll have some fun doing that. And so right now they're casting, so if you think you got an abundance of Friends knowledge, maybe you'll have to prove it and find yourself on a game show. Who knows how it all comes together, but it's going to start filming next month. Again, it's just a limited series, but it'll be interesting to see. Is there a television show, i.e. a sitcom out there, Big J, that you feel you have expert-level knowledge on and would succeed at a quiz show at? I know we play Pop Culture Smackdown every day. I was wondering if it was narrowed down a little bit and you're like, this is, if I were to pick an expert show, it would be this.
I would think Seinfeld, but it's been a minute since I've refreshed all of the episodes.
Yeah, if they got down to the nitty-gritty, you probably wouldn't do too well.
I don't know. I don't know. Test me out later, I guess.
No, I don't have any Seinfeld questions at the ready. I was just wondering if there was. You've done pretty well in the past, but a lot of them have been broader strokes.
Right.
Usually these things are going to dig down into some of the details of, like, characters' pasts and choices and all that kind of stuff, which would be difficult, I would think, unless you know the show frontwards and backwards. Plus, Seinfeld's a ton of seasons, too.
Yes, it's true.
So that's a lot to keep track of. Not that Friends was a short-running sitcom, but still. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. Speaking of Pop Culture Smackdown, it's next on the X.
Pop Culture Smackdown. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, and up for grabs for Pop Culture Smackdown today. We got Tickets Sustained, Breaking Benjamin, Daughtry going to be there, Lakeview. This happening October 6th. It's a Sunday, friends, out at the Ford Idaho Center Amphitheater. So we'll hook you up with those tickets. All you have to do is be Caller X and defeat me in a battle of pop culture.
Can you do it? Can you beat Big J? Can you knock him down off his pop culture pedestal? He's been on a run last couple of days. We'll see if that continues. And if you want these tickets, that's exactly what you're going to have to do. 208-287-1003. If you'd like to play the game, let's see if you got what it takes. Big J, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, to the phones we go. Hello, the X.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. What's your name, please?
DJ.
All right, DJ, you're up first. DJ, what actor directly replaced Michael Keaton in the role of Batman after he decided not to come back?
Oh, man. Was it Ben Affleck?
No, sir. Affleck. Ben Affleck came a couple of Batmans later. Hello, the X.
Quite a few.
What's going on?
2 to be exact. Hey, we need to know 3. We need to know what actor directly replaced Michael Keaton as Batman after he left the series.
Is it Val Kilmer?
It is Val Kilmer. Right. That is correct. He was Batman number 2 in the cinematic side of things. Big J, what band has the most number one hits on the Billboard Hot 100 with 20 songs that reached number one overall?
This is all genres, right?
This is correct.
Let's go Taylor Swift.
Wrong. Not really a band, so no.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we're...
Yeah, the question said what band has the most number one hits on the Billboard Hot 100 with 20 songs. Now that you know that, what would you say?
All right, let's go with 3 Days Grace.
Wrong. No.
Shinedown.
No. Wrong. Do not confuse the rock chart with the Billboard Hot 100, please.
I don't. I'm trying to think of what band out there would be it other than Imagine Dragons. I don't.
The answer is the Beatles. Right. Big
Oh,
J,
the Beatles.
With 20 songs to reach number one. Thought this was an easy one. I was wrong. Congratulations, man. You are all set to go check out Stained, Breaking Benjamin, and Daughtry coming up on the 6th. Hang on just 1 second. We will make sure you're set and good to go there, and we will do some headlines. They're next on the X Rocks.
Yes, you are now a better person for knowing this. It's Headlines on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Headlines are as follows. Safe for now. I like the smell. And nice job.
I like the smell.
Florida man was pulled over for speeding. When he was pulled over, he was really, really scared the cops would find his stash of cocaine. So he decided to hide it, Big J, but couldn't really find any place to do that. So he did the next best thing, which is...
your prison wallet?
No. Sniff as much as possible so they couldn't find any.
No.
When
that's not. That will be like, this guy's on coke.
When deputies in Pasco County clocked 40-year-old Joel Wallace speeding and attempted to pull him over, instead of complying, he did try to flee and led deputies on a very brief pursuit. Ultimately ended in front of his home. Apparently nervous about police finding his stash, he snorted as much cocaine as he could so they wouldn't find all of it.
It's all mine!
Of course. He gave himself up to deputies and they approached him. The problem was nose completely covered in white powder, like out of Scarface or something, you know?
Nice.
Wallace was arrested on multiple charges, including fleeing, cocaine possession, and, of course, tampering with evidence. So that's not a great way. Probably not great for the innards either. You just doing a whole bunch of cocaine right before you're about to get arrested. That's like heart attack in a bag, I would guess, right?
I suppose so. Yeah.
Well, if you're not the cocaine expert, who can I ask around here?
I don't know. Adam?
Wait, what does that mean?
I don't know. They're just random people.
Safe for now or nice job?
Nice job.
An unusual sight in Fort Myers, Florida left people asking, that's crazy. Is anything up for dumpster diving? Because passersby noticed an SUV perfectly placed on top of a commercial dumpster, sparking rumors about how it got there. Some wondered if it was somebody's trash, and if so, could anybody just take it? The local NBC affiliate there learned that a construction company was working on the area, and the SUV was parked in their way, so they used a forklift to pick it up and then left it on top of a dumpster as like a lesson to somebody for parking in the construction zone. And then the construction workers, of course, got to laugh about it. But if you're walking by, you're just like, holy crap, that's a full-on SUV right on top of a dumpster. And it was a big SUV, too. It was like an Escalade, and it was like perfectly placed on top of a dumpster. They knew what they were doing.
You know what? You got to give it up to those forklift drivers. They are They are artisans, if you ask me.
It's true. And ladies love somebody who's forklift certified. You know that as well as anybody.
Hell, you know what? There's some great lady forklift drivers.
That's right. So. Ladies love them. Love to be in them, too. Wrap it up with safe for now. An Indian girl was lured into an abandoned building by a grown man, she claims. Then she was saved by a group of monkeys, Big J. The child said that primates rushed toward the man when he attempted to assault her. The man then had to leave and flee after being attacked, and the girl immediately ran to her parents and told them. And the parents are saying that their daughter may have been dead now if the monkeys had not intervened and stepped in. Police are now investigating the incident. Big J, are these monkeys heroes?
Sounds like it.
Is that what the movie Monkey Man's about?
I don't think so.
Well, you saw it.
It is not about. No.
All right.
It's more of a style of fighting.
Wonderful. And so, could this be a group of superhero monkeys, or are they only good because they haven't gotten old enough to start ripping off our faces yet?
Maybe they just haven't been around enough of the other very upset primates who are like, oh, we're tired of this world and being spit on by human beings. We need to uprise. They haven't been a part of that group yet.
So they haven't seen Dawn of the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and so they're not familiar with their ability to upheaval.
They haven't been indoctrinated.
So they are. So they are helping us until they know better.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. And then ultimately leading to the uprising, of course. This is inevitable in your eyes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Just making sure. I'm trying to figure out the same page.
You know how it goes.
Well, I mean, we must have seen different Planet of the Apes movies, but yeah. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your headlines. You're up to date on officially everything. We need to give you your first keyword of the day for $500 from Dollar Loan Center in the X. Textual Healing. It's on the way on the X Rocks. The song that makes everybody on the staff freak out. It's Bring Me the Horizon. Top 10 statues that cried blood here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Of course, it's Tuesday, which means... Jesus, God.
Oh, my God.
We have to recap the Morning After Fantasy Football League, Big J.
Ill prepared.
What happened? What?
We had a discussion. You should have reminded me.
I thought you were joking.
I wasn't
It's
joking.
Tuesday, of course.
I
It's
forgot.
9:15.
Ricklemeat even sent me a message. What are you talking about fantasy football? I told him the exact time. Well, a couple minutes later than usual, but, you know.
So here we are,
I
Big
am.
J.
I'm here, dude.
How did week 3 of the Morning After Fantasy Football League go for the 0-2 Big J team?
Yeah, week 3, for once and all, hopefully, this is how the rest of my week will go. But I scored a bunch of points and even won, Nick, going up against Matty Ice. Coming into this, he was 1-1, I believe. And I had Brock Purdy going, the San Francisco 49ers. All injuries all over the place. He managed to do pretty well, though. Scored 25 points, but he is probably going to be out for who knows how long with a back injury. Aaron Jones, my running back for the Minnesota Vikings, he had a pretty good game. He scored me 25 points as well. That's always a good start when you got a couple players rolling that way. Travis Etienne playing last night. You know, didn't need a big game from him, thankfully, and he got me 12.5 points or so. The big bonus here was Jacoby Myers, wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders. Needed a game from him, and he delivered with 21 points. T. Higgins not doing so well. You know, of course, he didn't play last week. Played last night against the Commanders. He only got me 6 points. But Dallas Goedert, huge game for the Philadelphia Eagles. 27 points in my tight end position. Wide receiver woes. Got a couple on the IR. One of them that played but didn't do great was Johnson for the Los Angeles Rams, the Los Angeles Chargers. He only got 5 points. And Jake Moody, the kicker for the 49ers, had a great game last week, and a precedented game. He only got me 6 points. The Jets started things off on Thursday night with 16 points. So that left me 146 points. Matty Ice came to ball with Jalen Hurts. Didn't have the best game, only 10 points. Alvin Kamara thankfully had a paltry regular game of 15 points, Nick. B.J. Robinson, not last night, but Sunday got 13 points for him. 20 points from Justin Jefferson. Kyle Pitts only got him 7 points. And then Charbonnet, the running back there for the Seattle Seahawks, taking over for Kenneth Walker, who's injured. He got him 25 points. Alas, the Cowboys were the albatross for him, minus 1 point on the defensive end. It's always bad when your players score negative points. So he scored 95 points. So I won running away, that putting me at 1-2 on the league here so far.
Congratulations on your big win, Big J.
Yeah!
Way to go. On the flip side of that, I got my head caved in this weekend thanks to Monsters of the Midway. Probably
who swept us now.
Yeah. Probably why Justin wanted to find out what time we were talking about it so that he could get his flowers. But listen, I was going up against a team that scored the most points in the league. It was crazy, and that's 2 weeks in a row now I've gone up against the highest scoring. And I haven't even had bad weeks. I've had really good weeks. As a matter of fact, I would have beaten every team except for you and for Monsters of the Midway this week. I'm the second highest scoring team in the league, and I'm 1-2 because of just the bad luck losses that I have come up against. And so this May is probably going to play out the rest of the season. I'm not looking forward to it. It's not fun when you're playing well and you're still getting beat. That's unfortunate, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. But listen, I went up against a guy that had 3 players that scored 30 or more points with Allen last night, with Williams, the running back for the Rams, and then also Jamar Chase last night. So that's the kind of week I was having. 158 points put up by Monsters in the Midway. Highest scorer of the week by a whole bunch, over 10 points. So congratulations to Justin. He earned it. I had a great game out of Derrick Henry, great game out of Dak Prescott. My problem is I've got running back issues, and I got a ton of great wide receivers, but nowhere to put them. On my bench, I had almost over 100 points last night, or the total with Amari Cooper went off, McLaurin finally went off for Washington last night, Olave went off yesterday.
You have an embarrassment of riches in the wide receiver.
I do, and I'm starting the wrong ones because I can't put it in my heart, even though I know it's a bad start. I like it. You don't want to sit down Tyreek Hill because he's got a real quarterback problem, but I think I'm going to have to. I can't trust Tim Boyle to get him the ball.
Some dummy will trade for him, right?
And so that becomes an issue for me because I don't want to get rid of Tyreek Hill. But like everybody else is playing really well. I mean, I had a chance for a good particular week. Again, I scored 127 points. I'm winning every other game except for the ones I go up against. It sucks. But congratulations to Justin. I fall to 1-2. He improves to 2-1. Elsewhere in the league, congratulations to Prestige Worldwide, who improves to 3-0 this year. Even though he got a 0 burger out of Shaheed, his wide receiver, he could thank good performances from DK Metcalf and Montgomery for Detroit, as well as 25 points out of Lamar Jackson to give him a 99-90 win over Hit Me With Your Prescott. Prescott getting a good game, really, out of his quarterback, Sam Darnold, who's also questionable going forward. And then we'll see what ends up happening. But Jesse falls to 0-3 on the year, and that's who I play next week. So no offense, Jesse, but I hope that bad luck continues for you. Big J's already picked up the win. We talked about that. Elsewhere, Crosby, Stills, and Nash improves to 2-1. Zach with a big win thanks to 33 points from Saquon Barkley, 28 out of Neighbors, the giant wide receiver. He won 122-73. Ham Wallet falls to 0-3. Got a 20 points out of St. Brown, the wide receiver for the Lions, and that's really the lone. Whenever you're starting Gardner Minshew, you know you've got a quarterback problem, and that's what poor Sarah is dealing with as well. She falls to 0-3 on the year, and it is looking bleak. I don't even know if Minshew's going to be the starting quarterback next week. Other 3-0 team in the league is Pulverine. Dell improves to 3-0 thanks to a 107-92 win over Nakua Matata. Alex falls to 1-2. Dell got a great performance out of Jonathan Taylor for the Colts and just a balanced performance everywhere else. Mahomes and Wilson for the Jets, as well as Harris for the Steelers. Pretty good going forward. He left some points on his bench, but he didn't need him. He got the win. High score really coming from 18 points out of Breece Hall for Nakua Matata, and that's about it. And then finally, we have Team Rage picking up their first loss of the season thanks to Scott's got to give it a Hawk Tua, 89-70. Trevor falls to 2-1 on the season. Really didn't have anybody in double digits except for Jake Ferguson, the tight end. When your tight end is your leading scorer at 15 points, you know it's been a rough week. Got to give it a Hawk. Tua only needed 89 points to pull it off. 29 thanks to Rashid Rice of the Kansas City Chiefs, and 12 points thanks to their kicker, Butker, as well. He improves to 2-1 on the season. So there's a look at the Morning After Fantasy Football League. I told you I'm taking on an 0-3 team next week. Who do you got?
I got Pulverine, dude.
All right, you got to see if you can give him the first loss of the season. We got to balance out this league again. Let's go.
I'm going to do my best. Also, just a league note, be careful of the players you're dropping. We have a couple of players who are maybe new to fantasy football, and some players ended up on the waiver wire that maybe shouldn't be there.
Yeah, you got to watch out. We got a couple of Hawks in this league that like to watch the waiver wire like it's a second job, and they will pick up your players you drop. So be careful.
Including you.
That's right. I will take advantage of your mistakes if I can, but it doesn't always work out that way. I'm pretty low on the waiver wire right now.
Yeah, if you want a safe person to ask Nick or myself.
Yeah, we'll give you the honest truth. I mean, if you should not be dropping players that are starting every single day at the running back position. It's not easy to find those. Hold on to them because you're going to need them going forward. But if you have a running back you want to get rid of, hit me up. I am desperate. And don't try to screw me over either. I'd rather lose than give up a ridiculously awesome talent for somebody that's only going to play for 3 weeks. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your recap of the Morning After Fantasy Football League. We got a little bit of bad impressions. They're next on the X.
Bad impressions.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
And bad impressions here this morning. A chance for you and tickets to Bad Flower. That show happening October 3rd at the Revolution Concert House and Event Center. So next Thursday with Sloth, Rust, and Missio. What?
I'm just looking at you,
okay.
buddy.
Sorry, maybe I screwed up there.
No.
Either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll get you also qualified for a chance to hang out at a sound check party with Bad Flower. That will be a lot of fun. So we'll pick those a couple days before that show. And you just need to figure out the clues today. And then, boom, you're in.
Is it a celebrity today?
It is a celebrity-ish,
Wonderful.
yeah. Achilles heel of Treasure Valley, though, we're going sports.
Bonus clue before you even get on the phone. 208-287-1003 if you want these tickets to Bad Flower, a chance to hang out with the band before the show. It's an opportunity to do some cool things, and you could be a hero. 208-287-1003. Big J's got 3 clues revolving around that sports celebrity. If you can figure out who it is in those 3 clues or less, congratulations, you're going to the show. Hello, the X. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, the X.
Hello.
All right, we tried. Hello, the X.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, man. What's your name?
Adam.
All right, Adam. You're up first. Good luck.
I was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, but traded to the fighting Green Bay Packers the next year.
Next.
From 1992 to 2007, I was a starting QB for the Packers, winning a Super Bowl, 3 MVP awards, also gained the nickname the Gunslinger.
And the last one?
My last name is difficult to say, which made my appearance in the movie There's Something About Mary even more fun.
Oh, my gosh.
Adam.
It really is the Achilles heel.
Yeah, it's not just something we made up. It really is. Sports questions are hard. Any
I
guess,
really want to
Adam?
see Bad Flower, but I don't know, guys. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Obviously, you're not a golfer.
Apology accepted. Do not confuse people. They do not need that when they already don't know the answer. Hello, the X.
Hello.
Hey, did you hear Big J's clues, or do you need them again?
I need him again.
This old train's a coming. I was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, but traded to the fighting Green Bay Packers the next year. From 1992 to 2007, I was a starting QB for the Packers, winning a Super Bowl and 3 MVP awards, also gained the nickname the Gunslinger. And my last name is difficult to say, which made my appearance in the movie There's Something About Mary even more fun.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre, yeah.
Good job, man. What's your name?
Bryce.
Bryce, hang on one second. You're going to miss
Train
your train,
guy
brother.
Bryce.
You are going to miss that train. Get on board, and we will get every piece of information you need to make sure you're at that Bad Flower show. No mention about him stealing a bunch of money from people, huh?
No, well, that's exactly what we're talking about here.
Wonderful.
As he is right now, or actually earlier this morning, was appearing before Congress and the House Ways and Means Committee, Nick, talking about that very thing. He's talking about that he was investing in a company called Prevacus that was making a concussion drug, Nick, that received $2 million of temporary assistance for needy families. That's short for TANF funds. Favre was the top investor in that company, and text messages show he began asking state officials for help securing funding for that company November 18th. Quote, sadly, I also lost an investment in a company that I believe was developing a breakthrough concussion drug that I thought would help others. He said during these opening remarks, he said, and I'm sure you understand why it's too late for me because I've recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's. This also is a cause dear to my heart. So talking about this was an investment thing for him. He was trying to, make things happen for this, and also revealing that he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's. So that's a major bummer.
Yeah, he's thrown himself on the mercy of the court. The text messages, however, that have been released don't show that same kind of compassion that he testified in front of Congress with. So I don't know, man.
What did he say? Let the kids burn?
I let the kids burn?
I
No,
don't know.
I feel like he was doing something that was not all the way above board, and there was a lot of selfishness involved in that, and I don't think he's the best person in the world. That's what I will say about Brett Favre, but that seems to be a common theme with Packers quarterback. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Hey, there's your bad impressions. We wrap up the show here next on the X Rocks.
For tank and tankless.
7 Dust, that is Face to Face, and that's putting a ribbon on the Morning After with Nick and Big J for this Tuesday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us. We always appreciate it. Also, wraps up the Aftershock Power Hour. Yep, you were in the middle of one, and I know you know it too. Hopefully, you've been keeping track of those Aftershock artists because we're going to take your phone call right now, 208-287-1003. If you can correctly identify the number of Aftershock artists you heard this hour on the radio station, we will get you qualified to join us Friday at Sturman's Wine and Cigars. They're in Garden City, and have yourself a fun time with us as we give away some Aftershock Music Festival flyaway opportunities, and so we want you to be a part of it. So if you think you got what it takes, get on the phone. In the meantime, Big J, that leaves you with the floor.
Tomorrow about 5 o'clock on the Morning After Facebook page, I'll be doing a live stream of American Truck Simulator, talking about the Walk to End Alzheimer's, which is coming up real fast on Saturday. Last chance for some people to join the team if they want, maybe raise some money here and there would be nice. So we'll have a little bit of fun Wednesday evening.
Beautiful. So you can check it out in advance to get more information from it. That's tomorrow on The Morning After with Nick and Big J. Let's get ourselves a qualifier, Big J, if that's all right. Hello, VX.
Hey.
Hi. Yeah.
Oh, good.
No, I was going to ask you how many Aftershock artists you heard.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Well, 4, but it could be 5 because one of them was Bad Wolf and Five Finger Death Punch together. So, I mean, it's 2 different artists, but it was the same song. So.
Yeah, we just need an answer.
4?
4.
4?
Yeah.
Oh, you were
Wonderful.
discussing amongst yourself. Yes, it
Good
is
job. 4 is correct. Congratulations. You are officially qualified for the Aftershock Power Hour. Hang on just 1 second. We'll get some information from you and make sure you're all set for Friday's big giveaway party. So thank you for being a part of it. Tomorrow on the show, we will have an opportunity for Big J to give us a movie review of Challengers. You're going to be around for that, plus more tickets to Breaking Benjamin and Stained. We will see you then. Jason Drew's up next. It's EX Rocks.
When you buy tires at
Thanks for listening to the well, maybe you're not even listening, but watching. Who knows? However you found us, thanks.
Thanks for consuming The Morning After with Nick and Big J.
We're cool.